want to make sure.
Testing.
Well, it's registering. It'll be there in a second.
Okay. Can you hear us, chat? Testing.
Yep. All right, they can hear you. All right.
Sweet.
So, welcome to this very special episode of the NEL podcast, where today we have a very special guest. We have the English dub voice actor for Julian Loki on the podcast. Now, this is a huge event for me as well as the community, so I'm gonna try and keep it brief for myself in my introduction, but I'm gonna let our special guest introduce himself, and that way you can get to know him and his role as a voice actor. So I'm gonna let him take it away. Oh, they said they can't. They said they can't hear you. This is weird. It came through before.
Whoa! Wait.
We're not doing this again. No problems. We just had this going.
Is it specific because
Yeah, they can hear you.
I heard
They can hear
heard
you.
me.
Ravin. They said try
Is my
now.
gain to be higher?
Nope. I think I got it going.
Oh, how about now? Am I audible?
I believe so. Let's see if this comes in.
Is it specific because
Oh.
I heard me.
Try now. Nope. I think I got it going.
Oh, how about now? Am I audible?
Yep. All right. You're coming through. All right. I apologize for that.
Oh, good.
I apologize for the inconvenience. It's not a BLUELOCK stream if we don't have one fuck up along the way. It's how
So
it-
real.
Okay, I'll run it back then.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I am Kevin D. Thelwell, a voice actor who's done I've done commercials, video games, anime, audiobooks, all the like. Again, I've voiced for things like I play Zeus in One Piece in the most recent arcs. I've been the leads for different anime like Girlfriend, Beast Tamer, The Ice Blade Sorcerer Shall Rule the World. Am I Actually the Strongest? And recently airing is Make-in Too Many Losing Heroines. I work in a lot of various different shows. Like we're here for, I play Julian Loki in BLUELOCK. I play Kita in Haikyuu, and I voice in all kinds of different sports anime myself. And I also help with some assistant directing with anime. I've worked on a whole bunch of different types of shows, including stuff like the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Love You, and all sorts of things like Gundam, The Witch of Mercury, and the list goes on and on and on. But yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so again, thank you for tuning into the stream. So the general basis of what today's event is going to be, just for the viewers, is that we're going to be doing this interview. We have then a very special event type of thing for both Ravin and the voice actor to be competing against each other. And then we'll be diving into the episode and chapter review towards the later end of the stream. So we're gonna start with some questions. That's cool with you. We've already done a couple. We already done a short call prior to this stream to kind of decide which topics are okay to discuss, which ones aren't, given contracts and stuff like that. So there are going to be things that we aren't necessarily allowed to talk about, or he isn't necessarily allowed to mention, just given contracts and respect to the anime and adaptations and the studios and such like that. So we have some questions submitted by the community as well as personal ones from me and Ravin. So I hope you guys do enjoy the stream nonetheless. And yeah, Ravin, you want to start with the first question?
All right. Okay. So we'll start off with a fan question. or why not? And just to set the mood in. Um, what were your first impression? What was your first impression of the first episode of the anime? What did you like and what did you dislike?
Man, let's see here. So, I obviously didn't read the manga before the first episode of the anime in general. I just remember seeing all the promotions, and I'm like, new soccer anime. I would really like to work on that. And I saw just the art and how like kind of edgy it kind of looked, and I was really into it. I also have a massive bias for anything with the color blue or the name blue in it, so I'm already hooked in from the start. Trailers looked really nice, so when I sat down and watched that first episode, I'm trying to think. I can't really say there was anything I particularly disliked about the first episode. I just know I really like that kind of subversion of the teamwork trope where in sports anime we're like, oh, friendship and teamwork will always help us win the day and all that. And at the Blue Lock's just like, no, forget your teammates, forget your friends, kill them, do better than them, crush them. Especially that ending with the whole Bachira kind of corrupting Isaki into taking out Kira. That ending legit just gave me goosebumps, and I was so hyped. Second I watched that, I'm like, everyone needs to watch this show. I love this show. One of my favorite sports animes from just episode one, and I'm like, I want to be in that show immediately. So then I just started getting to work to see like what I could do to do anything in my power to make sure like I had an opportunity to like be considered for that show or work on it in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, lovely
Uh,
answer. Thank you very much.
yeah. So next question I have is, um, you mentioned what drew you to Blue Lock, but did you audition? Were you recommended for the role? Was this like, did you audition for a different character and just happened to get this role of Loki? What was your approach to the series?
Blue Lock was one of the thing with anime nowadays, at least dubs, is that a lot of shows just need to go out really fast, so that way the dubs don't take too long to come out versus the subtitles. Like the average fastest we get is about 2 weeks after the Japanese, meaning the second the episode comes out in Japan, we're usually already like starting to record it in English like a few days after that, business days wise. So they're speeding it up. So Blue Lock was something that I didn't have the opportunity to like audition for on the first set of characters directly, at least. Like directors have their own considerations and people that they're aware of, or just might like look through the roster at the studio to see who they might think. So I unfortunately didn't get a chance to audition for the first set of characters, but when the first episode came out, I'm like, I really want to touch this in some way, shape, or form. So I reached out to the director at the time, and I was just literally like, hey, I just saw the first episode of the show. I absolutely adore this. I am aware that you may be working on this, may or may not be working on the show right now. It's not out yet. I don't know if you've already cast characters yet for this show, but if you haven't already cast, and I would love to be considered for a character, of this show, or maybe later down the line of this show. And even if like you've already decided, hey, I already got every character in the show already cast, I would love to just touch the show in some way, shape, or form. So if you need help like directing or anything like that, I'd be down to do that too. And then the director replies like, hey, I'll keep you in mind for anything that may come up in the future. But I could also use some directing help. So yeah, I would appreciate that. And I'm like, bet, let's do that. So I helped out with a little directing sprinkled out here through the seasons. And then later on I got the opportunity to audition for Loki toward the end of the series, and I was really hyped for that.
Sounds very like Loki is a character who I didn't know about when I first started watching. So I was anime only myself. So when I first saw Loki, I'm like, interesting. I wonder what he's gonna do. And then the moment we saw him speed blitz everyone was such just like this is awesome because I'm a huge fan of speedster characters. Anyone with speed in fiction is just going to be automatically my favorite in some regard. That's why Chickadee is one of my personal favorite characters. And seeing Loki just speed blitz all these characters, especially Ravin, who's like, yeah, you're good, but I'm just better, and just absolutely cooks him was just a surreal experience to see, especially on like that last episode. Such a great
Yeah.
moment to see.
It's super fun. And yeah, I'm also a sucker for speedsters as well. So that was really nice, especially how he just like blows Chigiri out of the water when it comes to just speed. He's like Chigiri and Zantetsu combined times 10. It's crazy.
Raven, you got a question for him?
Yeah, so just a viewer discretion and just a reminder, I guess. You were up to the Ubers in terms of the manga, right?
Yeah, I'm in volume 25 of the manga.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're not doing any questions past the Ubers, basically. No questions involving past the Ubers, just for like avoiding any spoilers, stuff like that, and especially things in which you are not as comfortable with talking about because they're not officially released.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the episode Nagi manga?
I have not seen the episode Nagi manga, but I have seen the movie twice. I saw it once when I was visiting Japan. I went in theaters and saw it in Japan, and that was interesting to watch with no subtitles, not speaking the language, but I managed to pick up enough from the movie, just hearing repeating words over and over again through the movie to understand what was going on with it. So that was very cool. I even got like some of the merch from the movie theater in Tokyo, and brought it back and gave it to the director because I'm like, he's gonna like this. And then I also watched it again, of course, in English in the States as well. So we're familiar with that.
Okay, so for the next question, this is one of my questions. What voice acting role would you like for a series that currently does not have a voice actor for a character?
What voice acting role for a series that doesn't have voice acting? Interesting. Okay, man, there are a lot of shows that deserve dubs but don't have any.
Hmm.
Let me see here. I would totally love to be in like of recent shows I can think off the top of my head. Skip and Loafer is a really nice, wholesome anime. Really good slice of life. I would totally love to be the main dude in Skip and Loafer because that would be great. The Monogatari series is super duper fun and like an intellectual show. It's like one of my favorite animes. So that would also be up there too.
All right. I don't know either of them.
The Monogatari series is like huge, though, isn't it? There's like
I've heard of it.
my
I've
friends
heard of it, but
mentioned
I've
it to
never
me. Like
watched either
there's
of
like
them.
8 or so different shows, all
It's
within the same concept. Like what's
I want to say they're pushing like 150, maybe 200 episodes at this point. Because I remember when I started watching it back in the day, it was like around 100 episodes because it's been going on since like 2008. So they're pushing like 15 years.
Jeez.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
something. Okay, so another one of my questions I wanted to ask. In the manga of the series, Loki had a lot of extra lines that were actually cut due to production and time. Do you think these moments should have remained in the anime, or do you think that them being cut is still a fine decision?
I think it worked out at the end of the day. I do wish some of his other lines were kept in just because it gives him a little more character. Because in the anime, he's more cryptic, I feel, in the anime versus him showing a little bit more personality in the manga. Again, it's only a few lines, so it's not the biggest deal, but I do wish those lines were in there.
Fair enough. All right. So I'm going to. It's this seems like a common occurrence within the chat, so I will just ask it. People are asking if Loki has any sort of a relation or any sort of next screen time or next role within this current season of the anime, and I assume you don't know the answer yet.
Yeah, I do not know the behind the scenes of the anime. They do not tell us in advance. Anytime a voice actor is in a show who acts in it, usually we're recording on stuff that's already been out for like a week or at least a couple days at this point. So generally, we know the same things that the fans do. Me, as somebody who reads the manga, I can at least infer by the fact that this season's 14 episodes, we're probably not going to get Loki this season. I think it's probably going to end at the little slice of life segment that the manga had at that point where all the boys are hanging out. And then if we get a season 3 announcement, then season 3 is just going to open where, all the master strikers get introduced and, you see Loki and everybody else there. That's just what I'm assuming. Now, hey, they could tease people in the last episode and just throw everybody in there, but I would assume not. That's my guess.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
So, a question I had for you, which we probably should have started with, what drew you to voice acting? Was it a show? Was it a person? What was your reason for going into this profession?
That's an interesting one. So, I what even got me into acting was a little bit of a fluke because I had always done jobs that required my voice as like call centers and stuff like that. And people always said, "Oh, you have a nice voice. You should do acting and blah blah blah." And I'm like, I don't want to do acting. I hate being perceived by people too much, and I wouldn't want to be on stage or memorize lines. That just seems very uncomfortable for me. So I never thought about it. And then later, like I ended up like doing like little fun like hobby parody videos online with friends, playing video games and doing all sorts of things and the like. And a YouTuber that I followed a lot had a book that they were trying to get animated, and they thought, hey, it'll be fun is have a little competition in my fan base and have people audition for the roles in this book that we're animating. And I'm like, hey, I like this guy's stuff, and I have a little cheapy blue snowball mic. I would love to give that a shot because I've done my own acting and parody videos before, just for fun. And I had read the person's book and really enjoyed the story, so I'm like, hey, I want to do something to support my favorite creators and whatnot. So I auditioned for it and ended up getting a contract on that audition, which blew me away. The animation didn't end up coming out because of production issues, but me like landing that contract and then seeing that the other people that was actually cast in the project hired directly were actors who lived in California who are professional in anime and whatnot. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. The fact that I got a contract, in the same project as some of these people, like, hey, maybe I can do this stuff. So like eventually later in college I was a music major and I decided I wasn't really feeling the college music industry and whatnot. It just didn't feel fun. So I decided to start taking some like theater classes. I took acting workshops. I decided to really look into acting because I'm like, hey, voice acting would be fun. I like to voice in video games or cartoons or anime. And I looked into it and I thought, hey, at the time, like there was not even like 5 actors who worked in like the anime sphere in Texas that were like black people of color like me. So I'm like, it'd be cool to like break into that, especially with my voice type. I was on the higher part of it. I'm not, big, deep dude. So that would be different. And there weren't a lot of people who just worked in that industry. So I'm like, hey, that's something I would like to kind of set new ground in and jump into that myself, since there just weren't a lot of people like me in that part of the industry. So I decided looking into that. My best friend, who I'd known for a while in high school, up in through college at the time, and still to this day, actually, in fact, he's my roommate now. But my BFF, his cousin, was a voice actor or is a voice actor too, and that's Alejandro Saab. He plays Sai in Blue Lock as well. And we went to the same high school. He was one of my upperclassmen who graduated like before I knew him. So I eventually, like, I felt weird about starting voice acting because I'm like, oh, I don't want my boy to think I'm copying his cousin and blah 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 because he's like kind of famous already and whatnot. So I kind of like hid that I was acting for like a couple months from my friend, and I can't remember how the conversation went, but he was like. He was like, "Hey, what you up to right now?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing a thing." Like, "What do you mean?" And then he like interrogated the crap out of me, and I actually told him, "Oh, well, I'm trying to do voice acting." He's like, "Wait, you're doing voice acting now? Hold on, let me call my cousin right now, and he'll give you all the tips and all the pro tips and whatnot right now. We'll put you in a Skype." I'm like, "Wait, you don't do that. Like, I'm doing it right now. Skype start." And he put me in a voice call with Alejandro, and Alejandro gave me a lot of tips about like acting and moving to Texas and whatnot. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to look into this further. I'm going to try to move to Texas. And one thing led to another. I was working a bunch of like jobs and doing a bunch of indie work online in classes, trying to get a start on voice acting. Like I was, I'm fortunate in the fact that I have situations that just are unique to me, where like where there would be like classes that would come up in Texas. Well, I lived, I lived in Miami, Florida at the time, so very far away from where I am now. So when there were classes that came up, sometimes they were online, sometimes they were like in person. So like in New York or Texas, or sometimes there would be like voice acting competitions run by like Sentai Filmworks in Texas, or run by like Bang Zoom in Chicago, who were both anime studios here in the States. And sometimes they do competitions, and I've legit had times where I'll be like, there's a weekly anime ADR class, dubbing class, that will teach me like how to really do that. So I would sometimes get on a plane. My mom worked for still works for an airline. So I would like, "Mom, I need a ticket to a plane. Can you just type my name onto a plane roster so I can just hitch a ride onto a plane?" So if there's an open seat on a plane that nobody bought, I would just jump on that, fly to Chicago. Like I had a friend who literally messaged me, "Hey, did you know that there's a voice acting competition right now, and the winner gets to be in an anime?" And I'm like, "What? Where? Chicago? When?" Tomorrow. I'm like, "Tomorrow? Bet I'll be there in the morning." He's like, "What? Goodbye." Hang up the phone. I need a ticket. She's like, "Where?" "Chicago. Tomorrow. Bet." Hang up the phone. "Dad, I'm going to Chicago. I'll see you in a couple days." He's like, "You're going where?" Hang up. Friend, "Hey, I gotta call out of work. Tell the boss something came up. I'll be back in a couple days. Goodbye." So I got on a plane, going to the competition. I did that competition 2 years in a row, and like got to the finals both times. Never actually won it, but at least I need the fact that I tried it both times in a row and got to the finals. Really like made me think I had a chance for stuff. And I did that. I even did like weekly classes where I would like fly to New York. I have family in New York, so I just stayed with relatives up in New York, and I took classes in there, subwaying into Manhattan and from New York City. I would fly into Texas weekly. Sometimes it would be like 6 week or 4 week classes where I would work a morning shift at my job, finish that early afternoon, go directly to the airport, fly over to Texas, take a night class, stay at a motel for a night, and then fly back to Florida the next day, and then just work a night shift, and then each week repeat that over and over again. People in the class would be like, "Oh, I drove an hour away. I'm in this part of Texas. Oh, I'm in Houston. I drove 4 hours away." And be like, "Oh, I flew in from Miami this morning to come into Texas. What are you doing here? What?" I'm like, "Don't worry, don't worry. It doesn't cost us money. I got it for free. It's not a big deal. I really want to do this stuff." So it's crazy because those classes that I took, a lot of people who I took these classes with are actually people that have later in years hired me for jobs. People who I've worked with in studios now are people that I've directed in booth. And it's crazy how all the years change and how everyone has kind of grown. So yeah, I definitely took my own interesting approach. Like even how I'm in Texas right now is crazy because I did the thing that you're never supposed to do online. Disclaimer for any kids listening, don't do what I'm about to say, but I was in like Discord servers online with people. Like this streamer, Twitch streamer that I really enjoyed his content. So I was always in his Discord server hanging out, and I'll be like saying like, "Hey, I'm working 2-3 jobs trying to move to Texas, saving up money. I really want to, be an actor and move to Texas, blah, 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 be an anime." And one of the dudes in those servers that I was talking to a lot, and be like, "Hey, trying to move to Texas? Here, I'll do you a solid. I'll recommend you at my job in Texas, and if you apply to them and get hired, I'll let you sleep on my couch for 3 months, so that way you can save up money to get your own apartment, and that way you can be in Texas, so you can do your thing. And I'm like, bet I'll do that. So then I hitched on a ride, flew over to Texas, interviewed for that job, got the job, and then like a few days, I'm like, I gotta move to Texas right now. So I got into a car. Me and my dad and our cousin went. He said, "Yeah, I gotta make sure you're not gonna get axe murdered by moving with this random dude off the internet. So I'm gonna drive with you to Texas with all your stuff to make sure you're not moving with a crazy person."
Yeah.
So then I drove 21 hours over to Texas, met up with the guy who I met again on Discord, which is crazy. Ended up living with him for like 3 months on his couch, or like I had an air mattress in his living room, and then 3 months passed working at the job. I'm like, hey, while I was there, I was like paying half his rent because I'm like, I don't want to freeload on people and whatnot. So here, I'll pay half your rent while I'm here. And 3 months passed, saved up enough money to get my own place. And I'm like, hey, I already talked to the apartment leasing company, and I'll probably just get another room in a different apartment. So I'll be out of your hair in a few days now. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I kind of like you, paying half my rent. Why don't we just upgrade to 2 bedroom? And I'm like, you know what? Let's do that. And then we ended up living together for like another like year-ish after that.
Like, yo, we're like cool. You're cool. I don't want you to leave. I don't want to have to pay more
You're like
rent.
my best
Just
friend now. You're like.
Yeah.
he
So
Toto'd you. He Itadori and Toto. You're like, we're brothers now. Like, come on.
we're
We,
here. Yeah.
we
And
built
then
we
like
built a bond. You can't just leave.
it's crazy. And then like another voice acting class I took, they had like an alumni karaoke night, and I ended up meeting another dude at one of those, and we just started talking and bonding over how much we hate random social media stuff. And then during the conversation, I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to move like deeper into Texas, like the higher areas, so I can be closer to the Funimation building. And he's like, wow, what a coinky dink. I actually have a relative who just bought a house for me in that area, and I'm looking for roommates. Got a 4-bedroom house. You wanna move in with me? And I'm like, you know what? Bet. And I went to my other roommate. I'm like, hey, lease is running out. I'm gonna move into this house. You can come if you'd like. Up to you. He's like, you know what? Bet I'll move in here. So then we moved into upgraded from apartment to a whole house, and like, it's just I've been very fortunate and lucky to take risks where I have and have it work out for me. So yeah, that's
Those
where
are-
I am.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
I wouldn't dedicate it just to lucky,
It
being
worked
lucky.
out
Like
pretty
you, like
well.
yeah, it was lucky, but you say you put in a lot of hard work for this, so it's kind of just like coming back in strides. Like you put in a lot of work and a lot of effort, and it's just kind of like it's karma. You put in a lot of effort, and now you're getting good graces back. I think it's like a good return. Like you put in a lot of effort, now you're getting like the results that you worked so hard for. I think it came out worth it. That's from my perspective, as
Yeah.
someone who's does their best to get stuff done, but is also trying to find the easiest and the best way to procrastinate it. I can acknowledge when, like, because I get lucky a lot myself. Yours isn't just luck. You put in a lot of hard work, and I can say as an outside perspective that you deserve for all the effort that you've gone in. From what you described, I think from my perspective, I think you deserve the situation you're in right now, in terms
Yeah,
of
I
like,
appreciate it. And yeah, I've
yeah,
met a lot of kind people. It's like a lot of workshops trying to get better and people just to be worthy for any parts that I might be able to read for. Because like just getting being in the area is hard enough for people who aren't already born here. And a lot of like these stories about like the people who started this anime industry and with dubbing are people who just happen to be like, oh, I just happen to be like, I was a mechanic at a shop. Some guy walked in and be like, hey, you, I like your voice. Come and be Dragon Ball Z. And I'm like, some people just have random things that just happen to them. And I'm like, no, I saw this and I wanted this and I had to figure out how to make it work. And it wasn't easy getting in there. And like, took a billion classes trying to figure out how people get and send minute emails to studios. Like, what do I do? Trying to get agencies and whatnot. And just it's kind of like a lottery system where you get lucky or not to get into this kind of industry at points. And I was like, even taking a workshop with people and like, oh yeah, your voice is super great for anime. You can do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. But just nothing ever happened. Then one day I took a class and it was super funny because it was a workshop that I was taking that I just happened to just be doing a lot that week with work and stuff. So I was in the middle of like building a TV stand and in my apartment, and then I get a call from a guy who was running a studio that was doing workshop, and he's like, It's like, hey, are you still coming? And I'm like, coming where? It's like, well, the workshop. We started like 20 minutes ago. And I'm like, workshop. I forgot I bought that. Oh no. And I threw all my stuff down, got on my car, and sped out the highway to make it to my workshop. And then we were supposed to have a monologue for that workshop too. And I just didn't have the time to prepare it. So instead of memorizing a monologue, I just went on Google, looked up a monologue really quick, skimmed it. I'm like, all right, this is the gist of what this monologue is. So instead of memorizing it, I just got the general idea of the monologue and I improv just made up half the monologue on the spot for the class. Did it. People really liked it. And I did everything else in the class. And at the end of the class, the teacher's like, yeah, you did really well. And I stayed behind class after everyone left with a friend and went to teacher. And I'm like, hey, like, you work, at Funimation. You're a director. You're, helping class. You said a lot of nice things about myself today, but I've heard this stuff all the time. How do I get my name on the table over there in front to the director so they can at least consider me for stuff if I'm apparently, somebody who is ready for this? And he looked at me, he's laughed, and he's like, don't worry about that. I'll look forward to working with you. And I'm like, people say that all the time. Okay, he's just giving me lip service, whatever. So I left, did my stuff. A couple days later, I got an email and they're like, hey, can you come in and do some extras on the Ace Attorney anime? And I'm just like, what the heck? He wasn't kidding. It actually happened. And that was like, what, 2018? So that was about 6 months after I had actually moved to Texas that I like ended up getting my first anime gig.
Wow, that's seems quick. Like that seems quick, but also like 6 months is still a lot of time. But for how you described getting into the industry, I feel like 6 months seems pretty quick, especially when that was only 3 months after you were living on the dude's couch. You're like, let's just upgrade.
Yeah. And that was actually that. Let me think. The 6 months. Yeah. That was after the 3 months there because we'd already upgraded to 2-bedroom apartment at that point, and that was like 2 years. That was like 2.5 years ish after I started voice acting. Because I started acting and then was doing that for a year or so, and then I ended up moving to Texas. And then 6 months after moving to Texas, that's when I got into anime. Which that was really fast for the time because some people move to Texas and don't actually get into the anime industry for like a couple years after moving to Texas. So, but I think the timeline's getting more accessible to people as years go along to get into anime. But I definitely was at the time super fast. Yeah.
Well, you know what they say. You always miss the shots you don't take.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
so you taking those shots have led to the situation that you're currently in. And would you say that you're happy? Would you say that you're composed?
Oh yeah, I am super duper happy. Like even down the line, I was doing a little bit of work here with like Funimation here and there as the months go by, like working day jobs while that to support myself because starting out anime is not paying a lot. Anime doesn't pay a lot in general, but especially when you're starting out, it's at best it's paying for McDonald's for a couple days or something like that when you started back in the day. But when COVID happened and the pandemic hit, things kind of changed too because they shut down all of the studios and just stopped recording. So we're like, okay, we're not getting any work because I was doing an average of maybe 1 gig a month over at the Funimation building, and the pandemic hit and everything just stopped. And when that happened, we saw like a few weeks, I think a month or two or a few weeks passed into the pandemic, and we saw that My Hero got recorded remotely with iPads and special microphones and whatnot. They made a little video on social media that was posting about, hey, we did My Hero and recorded all the actors from home, so My Hero's back, guys. And my roommate, a few months prior before everything getting shut down, he actually built a recording booth in his room made out of wood. And it just so happened to be a booth that was big enough to fit 4 people. And at the time, everyone in my house who lived here was an actor for Funimation already. So we ended up sending Funimation a message saying like, hey, we see you're recording, anime from home now to, help with COVID. Uh, just to let you know, like if you guys need any extras or any like group work, which is, wallow work for the backgrounds and soldiers and, kids in the classrooms and all that jazz, we're like, we can do that because we have it at home recording booth. And we got a response from them within like, I want to say like minutes to like an hour where they're like, you what? And CC'd all the higher ups, at like Sony and Funimation, they're like, these guys can record a group from home when blah blah. We don't have to risk getting people COVID to record group stuff because they had to record people like individually for remote stuff at that time, which took way longer. So they had 4 actors that all lived together who didn't have a risk of getting each other sick because they were all together anyway. It saved them so much time and made things easier to get one more natural sound from like people talking to each other and background stuff. So when that happened, we ended up doing like the background work on almost every anime for I want to say like 2 years ish straight. So we were working a lot, and not just with Funimation, but with all sorts of studios. So like, if you look at any dub that came out within like, I want to say late 2020 to like early 2022, if not even later in 2022, you can almost guarantee that almost every show that came out had my voice and my roommate's voices in it at some point. Some shows, every episode, we were in the background or an extra for every show on there. So it was pretty crazy. It was definitely like a hyper training arc those 2 years because I just got a bunch of work in such a short period of time, which is way more than I was used to. So
Yeah.
it helped me grow as an actor a lot.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that answer. We're deep diving into the detail of your lore.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to kick off a few. We're going to actually kick off the Blue Lock questions because we got to most of the actual personal real life voice acting questions done. So this question is actually been one of controversial opinions because me and Arrow believe one side and the community mostly believe another side. And to get out the way, do you know the new Gen 11 title?
The new Gen 11 title. I do not recall. Remind me.
It's the title in which Sai Itoshi, Don Lorenzo, and Michael Kaiser hold.
Oh, I do not remember. Go ahead. I don't mind. You can tell me.
Okay, so basically, it's what is referred to as titles given to rising players within the Blue Lock series who have like a specific dedicated weapon in which provides them like immense amount of talent, and of course they have like absurd amount of potential in which can benefit to them being of some of the best players when they become over 20 years old. So the requirement for holding that new Gen 11 title would be to be under 20 years old and would to be, of course, skilled enough in order to gain that title. Mm-hmm. So the question in which I was actually going to ask, do you believe Loki is worthy of holding the new Gen 11 title?
I would say so. Loki plays with like Noah and just all the other top master strikers, and he's on the professional team already. Like, I would say that Loki would be like, I've seen people talk about it online. I feel like the general speculation is that Loki is probably going to be one of the final hurdles that Isagi would need to, jump over to become the world's best striker. So I 100% believe that. Plus, that Loki is younger than Isagi as well. So yeah, I 100% believe that he would be on that tier list as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
See, we have made several videos on and comments talking about this, and I'll read you the exact like description of what the new Gen 11 title is, and you tell me yes or no. Does this sound like Loki? The new generation World 11 is a group of international youth players heralded as the next generation of football superstars. Selected and recognized by FIFA, the new Gen 11 are selected by their individual abilities and potential. They all have outstanding standout abilities that separate them from their similarly aged peers. They usually have a skill that is not easily replicable, such as Sai's perfect kicking technique or Kaiser's lightning fast and accurate shot. But even they have the trouble of standing out on teams with some of the best players in the world, like Noah and Luna. Does that sound like Loki?
Yeah, that's not Loki, because Loki can go toe to toe with Noah. So yeah.
You hear that, fans? You hear that? Even the voice actor agrees. You hear that? Even the voice actor agrees. What you gonna say now? I need that. Like
we have had arguments with these with our fans, like with audiences, just because they don't believe the New Gen 11 title is applicable because of certain requirements in which haven't been ever confirmed. And
Uh,
since the actual requirements that have been listed is that you have to be under 20, you have to have a unique skill, and of course reach a certain level of skill and talent. Those are the requirements. We said that Loki fits those requirements. And of course, there's been proof and backing that he is a rising star, much like the rest of the New Gen 11 players. So, would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, I'd say it's accurate. Like, if Sai is on there, I feel like Loki 100% on there because Loki is already really big on that tier list. He might not be as famous as Sai in the lore, I'm not sure, but he's already on a team who plays professionally, which I believe is I don't think Sai actually plays professionally
He was going
in
to,
yeah, he's
but
going to, so he's
it's the age requirement that kept him. He was and his intent was to go pro.
yeah.
However, he was unable to due to the age requirement in Spain. However, now he is of the legal age to go pro.
Yeah, and then Loki's younger than him and already pro. So to say that like he is above Loki on that doesn't make a lot of sense because they achieved the same, basically all the same things.
So you agree that Loki is worthy of that title?
Yes, in my opinion, he is 100% worthy of that title.
Yeah. The grand difference is the fact that we say he's worthy of the title. We never say he has the title because that's not confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But people like to interpret that we're saying that he has the title or already has the title, and people are like, no, he doesn't. We're saying that he's worthy of it. It's a very big difference.
Exactly.
So thank you for that because we've been arguing that for so long, and it feels good to finally have another person who agrees and understands the points we're making. But so one question I wanted to ask, this is more of a comedic one. Do you have a funny or comedic headcanon about Loki? Something you think Loki would do, like act, a personality trait about Loki that hasn't been confirmed in the series, but you think would be true?
I don't know. I think Loki's just a little bit. I think he's kind of stuck up a little, like a little bit of an ass, just a little. Just from the manga, his extra lines that he has there, where he's kind of down talking Isagi and the rest of them. Is like you guys are kind of just garbage, not even worth our time. But I'm here for that nice 10K per shot. Every goal I get on you is kind of the vibe that I got from Loki, and he is he's humble in a way, but he's kind of passive aggressive in his humble bragging essentially on there. So I think that Loki is kind of kind of a dick in a way.
So my personal headcanon was that Loki is a huge fan of like the shaved head aesthetic. That's why he shaved it. And he frequently shaves his head. However, the reason that he likes he keeps it like so clean looking is because his mother is a hairstylist who constantly makes sure his hair is kept like very pristine in terms of how his appearance looks. Because he is this professional player, he wants to appear like good. He doesn't want to appear like he just rolled out of bed. He wants to look presentable. So his mother takes very extra good care of his hair and makes sure it's, despite it being shaved, he likes it, keeps it all intact and clean.
So my interpretation of Loki's hair is just a little bit different, just because to me, Loki just has a normal like low fade on his sides with just a little short hair. So his hair isn't shaved per se, but
Yeah.
that's a haircut that I have had all the time. Like, hey barber, go ahead and just give me like a real low fade, not exactly a shave on there. It was really funny because when Loki's episode came out in the Japanese version, I was hanging out. I was playing some card games with the actors who played Nagi and Reen, and we were also playing who was it, Pablo's actor as well, because he was one of my roommates as well at the time. And when that episode came out, they're like, "Hey, Kevin, like I just saw the new character Loki. I think he'd be perfect for you. He already has like your haircut, and he has it because I had like a shorter hair at the time, and I basically had Loki's haircut before I even knew Loki existed. So they're like, he looks exactly like you. He has all that stuff, and it was really fun. I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can do that guy, and I don't know, maybe they want accents and stuff like that. And like, quite literally, like a day or two after that, I got a text from the director. It's like, hey, how good is your French accent work? And I'm just like, oh no, you want me to read for Loki, don't you? Oh God. And then the director himself said, yeah, I thought it would be really cool to cast this Loki because I know you really like this. I know this is like possibly a bigger character down the road. And also too, like I saw him and I immediately just thought he looks like Kevin. Holy shit. Let me audition Kevin for this.
It's the similarities between multiple characters. There's you, Loki, and then Mbappe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mbappe's got big hair as well. Where it's not necessarily a shaved head, but he just has a low low fade on his hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another question in which people ask, just in relation to real life, so a casual question: do you play football at all?
I'm not super big into sports, but when season 1 of Blue Lock ended, Crunchyroll had a big Blue Lock event where they rented out a soccer bar and invited everyone in the cast to show up, and we ended up playing some games, and that was really fun to do that. So I enjoy soccer. It's cool. I am by no means really good at it per se, but I am most certainly faster than a lot of my cast members.
Oh, so he does have a bit of Loki in him.
Yeah.
It's canon. I mean,
It's
what am I gonna-
canon.
But
Exactly.
I
I
think
can outrun them and get to that goal a whole lot quicker than them. So I definitely
Yeah.
scored some goals that day, and it was really fun.
that's good.
Yeah.
I think we got enough for maybe one, or I think we got like good for maybe one question more each, just that way we can get to the game show and make sure your time. We don't want to extend over the time because you're taking your time to do this. We don't want to stretch it too far. So the last question I have is, with Loki being a master for the NEL, he is supposedly placed on the same pedestal as the other strikers like Noah and Chris Prince. Based off of skill, rank each NEL master.
Rank each NEL master. Okay. So, from what I have seen, which I've only seen one scene of Snuffy showing his skill in the manga yet, I would probably say, especially with Snuffy's story being more of a kind of tragic one, trying to find his successor, I would say I would put Loki. It's so hard because like Chris Prince has like just more experience and whatnot, and we haven't seen Loki go head to head with him on screen, which I wish we just saw more of the other teams versus just following Isagi exclusively the entire time. But all right, I would say that I would put they're so close. I would say Noah. Noah's probably the best, and I'd put Chris directly under, and then put Loki right after that. Just because I think all three of them are probably just neck and neck anyway when it comes with skill, and I just put those two above Loki slightly only because experience.
Mhm.
And let me see here. So we have Snuffy as well, who I'd put under. I'm missing one Master Striker.
Lavinia.
Lavinia. Okay. Honestly, yeah, I'd put Lavinia just like I'd say I just put Lavinia like right under Loki and then Snuffy right there at the bottom. Only because I just haven't seen enough of Snoki and his story already is a defeatist one anyway.
Okay, so from that ranking, what you can base it off of is like overall ability and then striker ability. Noah is of course number one, classified as the best striker, and Chris
Mhm.
Prince is number two, being voted as the second best striker just behind Noah. But when it comes to overall skill, Mark Snuffy is actually number one.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
and Mark Snuffy arguably has the most experience of the Masters.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't know that. I haven't gotten all that part. That's interesting. Okay.
So
Cool.
be prepared for that in the manga.
Oh, I think I have volume 24 and 25 now, so I'm going to be knocking those out over the next week or two. Like I'm going to need something to hold me over in between the Saturday releases, cuz we all love our soccer Saturdays here. So, I'm going to be reading the manga in between Blue Lock episodes now, keeping the hype train going.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. And then my final question to you. will be, what are your top 5 favorite characters in Blue Lock aside from Loki?
Bachira, Nagi. Hmm. 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 Obviously Isagi.
Isagi?
Yeah, obviously Isagi too. Let me see here. Baro, and then Bachira, Isagi, Nagi, Baro, and honestly, Reo.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say Reo. I like his arc and his growth that he's had things before in the manga and just the anime as well. Like my favorite Reo moment in the anime is the scene of him losing Nagi to Isagi in the well no, sorry, losing the game against Isagi where they take Chigiri from Reo's team, and just that scene of Kunigami grabbing him, lifting up, and goes, look at them as they're walking away, like how overly dramatic it was, and he's like crying, and it's just that scene lives rent free in my head so much. It's just something about it, just like him kind of looking in the face of defeat as like the people he's chasing walk away and he fails. It's just really good to me. I really enjoyed that.
So from that ranking, Butcher's number 1.
Bosch is 100% number one. Yeah,
Yeah, then we have Nagi at number 2, Isagi 3, Baru 4, and Reo 5.
yeah. I borrow like Borrow's arc is just also really fun. I like how him and Isagi were the I hate you. No, I hate you. Okay, I'm gonna, mind games you into making you do what I want. It's so good. I really love that. Yeah.
Fair enough. I do agree. That was a very awesome within the anime. Within the manga, of course, is played down a bit because you're reading, but in the anime, you can feel the intensity.
It was
Oh,
so
yeah.
good. I ended up like the scene where Isagi fully basically conquers Baro into getting that goal versus the what was it
The 3v3.
it was, I think it was versus Rail's team actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually directed Ariko Isagi's actor on that scene to end that episode. So it was so fun getting to be in the helm doing that scene. I really enjoyed it.
Really? So you do directing as well? Like how often do you do directing in that regard?
I do directing pretty often whenever like the studio needs people. Like if a director calls out, I would go in during the day. If they need extra directing work, like there's not enough time to get the work done during the day, they do it at night. So I've directed, my handful of sessions for Blue Lock and other shows. I have a list of shows that I've helped direct on.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think that's all the questions we have for today. To get into the fun aspect of the game show, let me share. I want to share my screen with you guys. I think you guys can see that there. So someone's cat is.
Yeah, that's my cat.
So
She's meowing
It's
outside my door because she likes looking outside instead of going outside.
your cat's like me.
Let me see. I'm not seeing the screen share yet. I see another
Yeah,
pop-up happen.
it's black screened right now.
Okay. Yeah, because I have it hidden just real quick while I
Okay.
set everything up. So
Gotcha.
let me hide your little character, Raven. So okay. Can you guys see it or no?
No.
Okay, hold up. We're gonna just
Oh, it flopped.
We see your Discord, and there we go.
so this is the Raven
Two titans
versus...
of the Blue Lock universe.
Oh yeah. I just want to real quick before we continue. I just want to make sure everything is good on the thing itself. So I'm gonna have to hide it real quick, just to make sure everything's good. Okay. Here we go. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba. And okay, can you guys see it?
Yep.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is Blue Lock, I Hate You, Jeopardy. So we have done this before. If you've seen the other stream we did a much bigger version of, this version of the game show. However, it's going to be shortened for this stream given the nature of the event. You may ask why it's called I Hate You. That's because the questions are designed to make you say that you hate me afterwards. Because I can't really help. Um, Going into the game itself, we have three categories. We have trivia, we have quotes, and we have abilities. So I'll explain each category as we go, but you pick a category with a point designation, and each player will get a guess. Whoever is the closest to the correct answer will get the points associated with the question. Unless no one gets anywhere near close, then no one gets any kind of points. If someone does guess the correct answer, the other person will not have a chance to guess, though. Also, because of the nature of the questions, I'm unable to give any kind of explanation as to exactly what it is, aside from from the starting explanation of the category. So I'd love to help you, but I can't. Because we have a voice actor here as our guest, I'm going to allow for him to pick the first category.
Prodigies first.
Okay. Let's go abilities.
Abilities for 1, 2, or 3.
1.
1. Okay. So scroll down here. For abilities, I'm going to poorly describe an ability in a specific player's arsenal. You have to tell me who this weapon belongs to. Some characters share the same weapon, multiple answers could be accepted. If you give me the exact character that I have listed, you earn double points.
Okay.
So, this weapon is used for clutching, for attacking, and for strutting.
Clutching, attacking, and strutting. That's an interesting wording there. Let's see here. Clutching, attacking, and strutting. Well, let's try for Bachida.
Bachida? Okay. What's the ability, though? Because you're guessing for an ability.
Yeah, his dribbling.
Okay. Raven?
Clutching, attacking, and strutting. I can assume like clutching would have been like in tight moments of the game where it feels like it could be best beneficial in, of course, bad situations. Strutting probably because it looks good, and attacking because it is a good offensive weapon. I think a good clutch weapon that I think of is like Nagi's trapping. I will go with like Nagi's black hole or void trapping.
So, neither of you actually got the correct answer. The answer is Aryu's long reach, aka his legs. He clutches up, he attacks with his long reach, and he's Aryu, so he struts his stuff.
I see. Okay.
So that's the nature of the questions. So no one has any points, but we will just get rid of this. And
so
we can...
yeah, so now you understand the game.
Yeah, that was that was difficult. Okay.
And clutching up, and clutching is in like clutching up, and a last minute like clutch play. That's what I mean by clutching up. So, Raven, you get to pick the next category.
All right, give me quotes for 3.
Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So the quotes. For this category, I'll be reading you a quote from the BLUELOCK series. However, it has been put through translators over 100 times each, as well as a fancy English translator. Your goal is to tell me who said the quote, and if you want double points, you can tell me who the quote was said to. So, Raven. Quote is, I did not arrive with the intent to overshadow others in my pursuit of excellence. Rather, I seek to conquer those who surpass me in strength. For without such endeavors, nothing shall transform. Who said this quote?
God, the reference to not wanting to overshadow people is probably stumping me, because who would not to overshadow people? I believe the closest person I can think of is probably like a pacifist, like Yukimiya, right? So I will guess Yukimiya saying so to Isagi.
Do you want me to?
Yeah,
Is it
that's what.
Kevin, Mr. Thelwell? What would you like me to?
Kevin is fine. Yeah.
So
Am I, just to clarify, are we allowed to ask if this is from the anime or manga?
this is just from the series. I go off of the
Okay,
manga.
cool.
I go off of the manga because the manga is actual source material, and going off of the anime,
Got it.
sometimes they're not accurate, one-to-one translations. So I go off of the manga.
Okay, got it. Yeah, I just want to make sure if it was something that has been said or not in the anime or not. So okay. So manga that raises the scope of who.
I didn't go past where you are currently. I kept it within what you know, what you've read.
Okay. Let me see here. I do not seek to overshadow others. Excellent. That is interesting. Yeah, who would be saying that if not for that? Okay, somebody who's kind of humble, which in Blue Lock that's kind of rare as heck. That's sick. Honestly, the fact that you said it's been translated a billion times, let's just go with Kunigami.
Yeah, you can go for double points by saying who it was said to.
We'll say Kunigami to nothing shall I can't give you the answer on that one. That's tough.
Okay,
Well,
so
actually, no. We'll say Kunigami to Raichi.
okay, Kunigami Doraichi. So the answer was Isagi.
Ah,
It was at the beginning
darn
game
it.
of tag when he was monologuing to himself about not kicking out Ikiguri by taking the easy shot when he turns to then go after Bachira.
Darn it! And I was thinking Ichiki.
I
Not.
thought for 3 points it would be very simplistic to say Isagi.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I'm
what
outplaying
threw
you
me off
here.
was the beginning part, because the transform part that sounds like Ichiki, but the rest of it didn't sound like Ichiki. Man. Okay.
Yeah, I just think like points correlate to like how difficult it would be. So I think Isagi as a 3 point answer wouldn't be like hard to guess. So that's
You
why I
don't know.
didn't guess
You
it.
don't know anymore. You don't know
The
anymore, Raven. I'm
translation
changing
made
the
it
whole game.
difficult. Yeah.
I'm changing the whole game now. But it is now back to Kevin. It is your turn.
All right. Let me get trivia for 2.
Trivia for 2. Okay, so for trivia, let me pull this back up. For trivia, I'm going to give you a statement about a character in the series, and you have to tell me who it coincides with. These statements and information will come from the official books like the Egoist Bible, the official manga, interviews, or any canon confirmed sources.
Okay.
So, this character would take umbrellas and arrange them into a fort in the corner of his room and play there. This was when they were a child.
Umbrella forts. Ooh, is it Bachira?
Bachira, okay. Raven?
It's I believe. Oh, God. Because I may be wrong here. Is it Zantetsu?
Zantetsu? So, neither of you guys are actually correct. The answer is Nico.
Nico? I don't know any of his backstory. Yeah.
Nico used to
For some
take
for some
umbrellas
reason,
and
I
arrange his
thought
fort.
it seems like a silly thing to do, and I thought Zantetsu would relate to that. That's actually a bit of trivia that I don't know.
But remember, Zantetsu's family was all doctors, so
like
they would
dentists, I
they
believe?
yeah, dentists. Sorry, they would all. I think they'd all be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
He wouldn't get
yeah,
enough
but like that's
family
the point.
attention.
He is the idiot of the family.
I don't know, but
Uh,
that so far y'all are 0 and
Yeah,
3
because
right
it's more
now.
of a social anxiety. Yeah, we're swinging and missing here. Oh my gosh, these are
But
difficult questions.
hopefully now you see the kind of theme with the game, each of the categories you guys have gone through, and kind of have an idea
Yeah,
of how the games are going to be, how the questions are
I
arranged,
got to read the Bible. Oh my god.
yeah.
and the
Okay,
sequel
so to
to it
get
as well that's coming out soon. Maybe the information comes from there too. You don't know.
Okay.
all
Okay.
right
Okay.
to get a point on the board, I will select trivia 1.
Trivia for 1. Okay. This character played volleyball in his first year of high school.
Oh wait, Okay. Oh God, it's not like too easy to know. Because I had like a few people in mind because I remember reading something about this. Like someone used to play a completely different sport. I know Rayo used to play basketball. Um, gosh, was it? Oh God, this is actually terrible because my brain is going. It can't be Rayo, right? It can't be Rayo. He done basketball. We saw. We can't. We saw basketball.
I don't
Saw
know.
basketball. No, I'm not asking you. I know you won't give anything away. um, I believe because in relation to like recent sports, um, and I believe the type of school that they went to. I believe Nagi was the answer, so I'll go with Nagi. But I'm probably stumped.
Okay. So your guess is
I'm
Nagi?
yeah. I'm
Well,
actually gonna go with Rayo. I think he played multiple sports.
okay. So your guess is Ryo then. You think Ryo is
Yeah, I think it's Rayo.
well, someone got it right. It is Nagi.
Ah, there you
So
All
the
right.
source of this comes from the light novel where Nagi actually
Yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
a bit of an insane receiver because of his trapping. He would always do foot traps with the ball whenever
Is that
someone
legal?
spiked it.
The libero. Oh yeah, no, the libero is allowed to use their feet in order to stop the ball from hitting the ground.
Oh, he's like so he was defense. He's like, nah, my dude in Haikyuu wasn't a libero, but he was like defense like that too. He could always stop the ball from
Yeah, it's
hitting the
basic.
ground.
It's called it's just a bunch of clutch plays. So it's basically something that's really out of reach that regular players can't get to. But liberos are allowed to use their feet, basically any part of their body, in order to save the ball from hitting the ground.
This was
Ah,
also
I got you.
shown with there was a official art done where Nagi and Rael are actually playing beach volleyball, which is another correlation to Nagi actually having a little bit more volleyball experience. But
Yeah,
yeah, Nagi is like 6'3", so he's a 6'3" libero.
he's a
So,
big boy.
This is the tallest libero you'll ever see.
but that means Raven actually got a point on the board.
Yeah,
Oh my god! I
This is
thought we
yeah.
just ended with 0 by the end of this.
so it is Kevin's turn to pick a category. So you got quotes 1 and 2, trivia 3, and abilities 2 and 3.
All right, let's go quotes 1.
Quotes for 1. Okay. Employing the very momentum to extricate me from your presence while striving toward the objective with commendable acumen, Mr. Abnormal. Moreover, with Mr. Inferior having chosen to rouse himself, you all have metamorphosized into an entirely distinct ensemble of your own. Ensemble of your own.
Hmm.
It's so unnecessarily posh.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so posh. Okay,
It's
okay. Employing the momentum to extricate me. Mr. Abnormal, Mr. Inferior. Let's you've all metamorphosized into an extremely distinct ensemble of your own. Dang, I'm thinking it's either Bachira or Reen. Uh, but I'm leaning toward Reen. You're a distinct ensemble of your own. Momentum to extricate me from presence. Mr. Abnormal. Actually, oh man, that's so tough. It could be like all any 3 characters. Is this the Naruhaya fight? Is this the Reen fight? Let's go with Let's go with Isagi, actually.
Isagi? Okay.
Yeah.
Raven?
I think because I'm either perceived like ego's a very obvious one when it comes to these like big built up speeches, but I'm pretty sure like Mr. Abnormal is probably another way to describe someone who's kind of weird or just not regular. Because who's been described as like not normal in within the series. Rin has been described as not normal. Bachelor being described as not normal as well. Isagi probably in a way has probably been described as not normal. I don't know what to go off of because judging by the answers we already had like an answer for Isagi, Nagi. So we haven't had Rino. I guess I will say Burū towards Isagi.
Okay.
No. Yeah,
So
sure.
yes?
Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so neither of you are actually correct. The answer is Karasu. Karasu said this to Rin about Isagi after his goal in the third selection.
I'm not used to any of his lines without sexual innuendo. Okay.
But
what was that stemming from?
Karasu's lines in the translation have there's always like borderline lewd remarks coming out of his mouth.
Oh
like,
yeah.
What's going on here? Why is he talking like that?
Hiyori's left leg is like, oh, your left leg is so tight. How lewd.
Somebody scored a goal and he's like, man, that's kind of hot. And I'm like, what?
You mistaking him for Shido? What?
Yeah, when he said about the Shido, I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Everything he says is.
But yeah. So.
All right.
Raven?
I'm going to pick abilities 2.
Abilities 2. Okay, abilities 2. Look.
Hey, look at me. I am the captain now.
I am the captain.
I am the captain now. So look room, right? So it's to basically say, hey, look at the ball, look at the ball, we, or maybe look at the person, right? And this could be a Loki thing, right? Good Loki. But should I let the Loki voice actor take that answer, or should I take another speedster like Chigiri or Zantetsu?
I don't know.
Do whatever.
Because it might not be the right answer.
It might not be the right answer. It could be someone that's subverting your gaze, or someone that's. But Vroom is usually describing someone who is fast, who is like going from this location to that location in a matter of moments. So, it's but I do want to say like Godspeed, Loki.
All
right.
So, what's your guess then?
All right. I think Loki is more of a Pew kind of guy, so I'm gonna go Vroom being Zantetsu just because he's like 0 to 100 almost immediately. So I'll say Zantetsu.
To be fair, that's a good answer.
Neither of you are correct again, so it's the Wanema Bros eye contact.
Eye contact!
Because one of them looks at another. They look at each other and then they go.
That Vroom is mean.
Mean. Yeah, if it look does that does okay. The Wanema Brothers, their weapon is their eye contact. The room throws it up.
The room is because they just look at each other, say nothing, and they're like, all right, we're going. That type of thing. A room could mean speed, but it could also mean instantaneous. Yeah. Meaning they're just going. They look, they go.
I was thinking that, but you never say one of my brothers.
Well, remember, I changed the whole thing of this game. This game is not what you thought it was.
You made it too hard. Not even I can get some of the points.
Yeah, by the way, he won the last 2 events that we did this game show when we had the bigger thing and the last one.
Oh, dang. Okay.
I have
So
blue
it's-
look knowledge, but this is stumped me.
This is advanced. This is very advanced.
It's very meticulous, but is what it is.
All right. So, Kevin, it is your turn to pick a category.
Okay. Quotes too.
Quotes for 2. All right. Thank God. Last time I have to do this accent. Nay, such a notion is inconceivable. My tranquillity shall flourish if I procure my own victory.
Nay.
Okay. Oof. I am going to.
It's got to be a horse character because they
gonna
say
say-
nay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna say Audio.
Okay. That's a
It
good
does.
one.
It does sound very formal. I get that. So, okay. So, are you? I guess I believe are you could be a good guess, but because RU's been done, maybe not. So, definitely Igaguri. I'm kidding.
Namaste.
Namaste. To be fair,
I should have just thrown that in there and made it a joke like that. It's actually not. Someone
That
else
would
has
be-
said it.
Crazy.
yeah. Notion is inconceivable. My tranquility shall flourish if I procure my own victory. Basically, someone who's just saying, "Oh, if my skills are good, or if my skills will advance or evolve, my victory is guaranteed."
So,
But who talks with such? I know this has been through like a fancy English translation, but like this feels like someone who's actually talking a bit more formally as well. Anyway, because I'm thinking of Yukimiya again, and I always go back to Yukimiya because he's just very well spoken. But is that the translation getting me? Probably.
Difficult.
I will guess because I won't get him out of my head otherwise, and it's most likely wrong. I'll just guess Yukimiya to Isagi.
okay. The correct answer. It is. It's Yukimiya, except he said this to Reo.
Yeah. Oh, he said it to Reo. Oh, okay. Well,
So you don't get double
I got
points.
2 points.
But you got 2 points.
Right.
So there's 2 more categories. You gotta take this back, my man. I mean, if you get 1 3-pointer, you
boy.
tie. If you get 1 3-pointer, you tie.
Let's see if I can.
All right,
Tough.
Raven, pick the category.
I'll go abilities 3 and save the
Okay.
trivia for last.
Abilities 3. The fact that this actually happened has only one single explanation.
Oh, bro, what's the idea behind this? The fact that it has only happened with one single explanation. And I assume this isn't like too far in the in the manga to prevent.
This
like,
is
spoilers for
relevant
Kevin.
to only up to where he's read.
Okay, cool. So only one explanation. I believe this could be like tapping into the flow, being able to use abnormal skills. So, like Isagi tapping into the flow for the first time, being able to score his direct shot against Ren and Shido, or it could be like Shido entering the flow because of Sai, giving him that sort of drive and inspiration, and of course motivation. So, I'm going to guess because I believe only one explanation can. Or no. Would luck? No, because I believe like Isagi with luck, one explanation, but luck an ability.
Not exactly.
I wouldn't say it is. I'm going to guess Shido's Big Bang Drive when entering flow.
Okay.
Okay, she is becoming drive. Wow, this is really big. It's hard. This only has one single explanation. Um, I am going to just throw out a guess here and say, uh, when Bachira was evolving during the versus Isagi match when he was on Rin's team, and he started evolving toward the end of the game. But that's something where Isagi had to do a whole monologue with only in this one scenario, in this single explanation, this would
Remember,
happen because he
this is an ability, so this is something that
it's
a character possesses and uses in the series.
oh okay, so so it's a specific ability. Man, that is tough. This only has one single explanation. Oof. Uh, I am just gonna have to throw something out because I am completely blank on this. So let's just say Tokimitsu's muscle,
Okay.
his endurance ability.
So you did say it. You did mention it, Raven.
No. Here's the thing. I don't consider luck as an ability.
I can.
It's something they
follow
possess
anyone.
and utilize. Isagi has utilized luck. Kaiser's
Yeah, but
utilized luck.
No, but it's
Ikaguri
not- it's
most
not-
definitely
it's not
has
an
utilized it.
ability. It's not an ability. You can utilize it, but it's not an arsenal guarantee because it just people can grasp on the opportunity.
And if
but I would
you
never
have to
consider
learn,
it an
you have to
ability.
be able to extort luck. You have to be able to use luck to your advantage.
Yeah, but
Ikaguri
not.
has most definitely been using this.
Nah,
He's been dipping his hand into the luck pot. He's been dipping into the luck pot a little bit.
I ain't gonna lie. Luck as an ability makes no sense.
I
Yeah.
think you're just mad because you said it and didn't guess it. I think that's where you're at right
No,
now, man.
no. Because I literally said within my reasoning that I don't consider luck an ability.
Listen. The only reason, if you go back, let's go back. The fact that this happened has only one single explanation. One explanation. Rin defeating Isagi happened because of luck. Something that's going to happen later this season is going to happen because of luck. Something that happens later in the manga twice happens because of luck.
The question doesn't matter. The classification of the fact that luck is an ability is what I perceive as incorrect.
Well, you know what? You're salty.
Yeah, well, I'm winning. Why would I be sorry? I'm just voicing my opinion.
10 billion points to Gryffindor. Raven loses.
For that, 2 points, Hufflepuff.
All right, so we'll just go into the last one now, being trivia 3. This character dodged a security guard's tackle while running away from a group of guards.
I don't even recall security guard ever existing in the show. All right, it's from the Bible. So, is this mine?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, dodge a security guard's tackle while running from a group of guards. I am going to say Shido.
Okay. Shido.
Kevin, you're gonna be upset. This answer is Bachira.
Was it? When did he ever get attacked by guards?
It is Bachira.
It's Margaret Bachira's summer vacation.
It's like, is it a spin-off manga thing or a Bible thing?
What was it specifically, Arrow?
It was, I believe, Bachira's light novel.
Yeah.
Yo,
I have. Okay. I found this entire. I looked up. I made this at like 3 a.m. because I was like about to pass out, and I'm like, oh, I didn't make the game show, so I just looked up weird BLUELOCK fun facts and found a Reddit thread of BLUELOCK wild trivia that has like the confirmed sources to it, and I believe it came from Bachira's light novel, but yeah, he was getting chased by guards and he avoided one of them tackling him.
Oh, That's sick. Okay.
You've been guessing Bachata so religiously this entire time.
Yeah, and that's the one time I didn't. I just couldn't imagine it. Like, who would have to be restrained by a guard? Shido's the only one came to my mind.
To be fair, Shido isn't a bad guess by any means.
Yeah.
No, it is not. Shudo is not a bad guess by any means, because
Probably one of the top 3 guesses that you would have.
Yeah,
I was gonna say for a different reason, but I realized, oh, he hasn't gotten to that point. He wouldn't guess it. Kaiser.
Yeah. I was thinking like Kaiser is like someone we will get to, but like to not spoil Kevin, we will not talk about it.
Yeah, but
yeah, good.
that was all I have for today. I really appreciate you tuning in, Kevin, and taking the time to help the community, give us a little bit more content for everyone, especially with BLUELOCK Season 2 coming out now. Myself and Ravin are going to be on the grind. We got matchup streams going every Friday, uploads and uploads of our own videos on Saturday, along with the BLUELOCK episode, reviews that come out on Saturday, as well as these weekly podcast streams as well, and then on Monday my own review. So 4 days out of the week, BLUELOCK content we're providing for our community, and this really helps. So again, thank you so much for
Thanks for having me.
We've got one more question for you. You watched the first episode of season 2, right?
Yeah,
What thoughts?
phenomenal, really great. It's a good setup. It looks super crisp. I saw people were like complaining, "Oh, the animation's not going to be that good." The animation looks great. I saw somebody on Reddit put a whole apologize to 8-bit form because this looks amazing.
Bruh.
Would you say it looks better in comparison? Would you say it looks better in comparison to the first season?
I feel like the style looks a little darker, a little different. So I'm really not sure if I say it looks better. I just say it looks different, but in a good way. It looks great though.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty fine.
All right. Solid shit. All right. And that's everything.
Yeah, that's all.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
For taking the time.
Good to be here.
I will say we have a person in our community who is a huge fan. So if you want to try and do us a solid, reach out and be like, hey, there's some people who'd love to interview you. I think you'd make one guy lose his absolute mind.
I am not sure if Alejandro does interviews. That guy is really busy all the time.
Yeah.
Like even
especially
for his
now.
friends to hang out with, it's kind of difficult to get a hold of him. So I'm not sure if he has the bandwidth to do interviews. But yeah.
No, yeah.
Let's see.
Especially nowadays in a primary voice acting role within this new season.
He's always doing something.
Yeah.
He's a big streamer too. So if he's not acting, he's streaming. He's always busy with something.
I want to try and meet him at a convention to at least interview him there potentially.
No, that might work. He goes to a lot of conventions, so yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully that'll be something we can do. But yeah, I thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to do this. I'd love to have you on in the future, especially after season 2. If season 3 gets announced right after, like season 2 did, I'd be very excited to have you on, especially relating to events that are going to happen after that. But yeah, thank you again so much for tuning in. Anything you'd like to say to the community as on the last farewell remark?
Thanks everyone for having me. It was super fun, and until next time, make sure you watch the show and catch up on that manga.
Thank you again. So you don't gotta worry if you X out of the thing, it'll just read from the thing. But yeah, thank you again so much.
Gotcha. Yeah, thanks for having me. Catch you guys later then. Bye.
Have a good day, man.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Bye.
So that was the interview. I hope you guys did enjoy it. Me and Ravin, we're gonna be here, but we're gonna be taking a small, quick break while I set this stuff up. Ravin is actually gonna be setting up his, what are you setting up your? We're trying to set this up. So
well, it should be done on your end, but we will have to. We're gonna get someone else in the VC.
We're gonna try. Well, Onyx can't do it.
As Arrow already flashed on screen, it's Onyx.
Well, he can't join. Remember? I don't know if you saw.
Can he not now?
Yeah, he can't. So we were gonna have
Okay.
Onyx join, but he is not able to anymore. So it's just gonna be me and Raven this time. But we're gonna try and
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry to let you down.
blame
But yeah,
Onyx, not us.
we're going to be taking a 5 minute, a 5 to 10 minute. We'll notify everyone when we're back, and
Well, I'll still
yeah.
be here. Raven will take a 5-minute thing. I'm gonna just set the. I'll be here setting
Well,
up the
no.
layout.
Hey, you got to set this up on your
I'll
side
set it up.
because
I'll set it up too. I'm still just
oh
going
no,
through
it
and.
has to be on your side to be picked up on your stream.
Well, I'll do that too. We'll do it both. But yeah, I hope you guys did enjoy the interview though. Like that was honestly that went I think decently well. I think
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun myself. I hope you guys did enjoy it. That will be turned into a video for next week though. So if you guys want to see that interview cut down and add some humor in there and some extra fun content, you know where to go and you know what to see and wait for. Uh, me because I'm awesome like that. But also,
He's
yeah, go
awesome.
sub to Raven by the way. Raven's channel is linked down below. Um, if you wanna go check out his good content that he makes, because he dope like that.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so
Hard
how do we
time.
do this? How do we do this?
All right. So I've sent basically the information that you'll need. I sent you just above the icons in which I sent you. I sent you a first link in which you have to authorize to access your Discord.
Oh, but I don't have Nitro though.
I don't believe you need Nitro.
Okay, first go to reactive images page. How do I do that? Here. Aha, log in with Discord. We're doing it. We're doing it. It's taking us a little bit, but yeah. Oh, I don't remember my Discord. Okay, this will be interesting.
Do not flash that on screen.
I'm not. My camera's off, but I'm using my phone. I'm just gonna log in through my phone.
Okay.
Anyways.
And then after I will run you through the steps.
Okay, I see that. Reactive images. Okay, we have it. Authorized. Okay, now what?
Okay, so this you would have to add your models.
Which would be the two colored models.
Icons. Choose so basically on the right side you should have the models. Hit plus. Choose a file for speaking, which is the colored one, and inactive image being the gray one.
Okay, let's go. Okay, so speaking image would be a colored one. And your black and white one would be that one. So there we go. So save it. Now what?
Next up, let's test this bit out. Because then from there we can probably work with it. In your Streamlabs, you want to go and click Add Source and then Browser Source.
Mm-hmm.
And then select the browser source.
Okay, how do I do that?
It should be in the list.
Yeah, I
general. Okay.
So you copy and paste the link for the individual source browser.
All right, we're gonna join a Discord. Cool.
Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Okay, you guys should still be able to hear him.
Hello, chat.
Yeah.
I muted myself in Streamlabs, so there isn't an echo.
Yeah, I already muted you myself.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah. So you click the browser source, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next up, you'll just need to add the source and then copy and paste the URL.
How do I do that though? How do I?
Have you added the source?
Yeah, I have the browser source here.
So click on it, and then you can copy and paste the URL from of course, the area in which you picked.
Okay, so where do I put it though? Like I'm on Discord. I'm looking at Discord Reactive. I have your model in there. There's nowhere for me to get a link, and there's nowhere for me to.
The URL, meaning the link at the top.
Oh.
At least this is how I'm assuming it's done.
Okay. Okay. I did that. It shows the link now.
All right. Let's see. Let's see. Because I'm just following this step-by-step guide. You must be using Discord you must be using the Discord desktop app. Does that mean application or? No, I assume it means application, so you're fine.
Yeah. Oh, I think I have to have model select API. I think I need to pay for it. PNG
Never
avatar.
mind then.
Before make it a private channel, stream and go into your Discord avatar, browse source. You don't have Discord for channel behind. You won't need to see the avatar in yourself. Browse source and go and name it PNG avatar. Make it easy to find. Next, you'll need to add individual base link for individual browser source from the reactive images in the URL space. Yeah, this is bugging. Might as well just stick with normal shows.
Alright, fine. We'll sort it out like after the stream.
Yeah. We need to pull up.
There's probably alternatives anyway.
Yeah.
There's no actual there's no translations, nor is there any official copies. It's the leaks still.
Yup.
Which
the raw scans.
You shouldn't live stream. We have the translation posted by
oh my god! So I have to watch an advertisement. Give me a second. I'm gonna have to mute things so that we don't have to hear it. Okay, we're good. I think. I think we got the. We're good. I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, we got it. Ravin, can you hear me?
Hello.
Are you staying on Discord or are you going to stream?
No, we're staying on Discord. We are
okay.
on.
We don't have the translated scans, but we do have translations thanks to Animasu, who's absolutely the GOAT, because he actually
They're not in order. They are not in order.
They are not. They are not in order. But you know what? We
here. I'll just send it in chat, in DMs, the actual order of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's begin with where the chapter begins. So we'll start the chapter review now. You want to go get people? We'll start the chapter review right now, and have a good time doing it. All right. So the chapter begins with the opening tagline being, Igaguri's secret technique shakes the field. The world goes into a storm of cheers at his militia. The announcer says, Igarashi Gurimo, who just entered the game, made a fantastic save by drawing a foul from the ferocious beast Itoshirin. And, hopefully it'll load, we see Igaguri on the ground with Raichi and Gagamaru going towards him, and we see him shouting with tons of he's hype, which, to be fair enough. Raichi says, nice job, Igaguri, and Gagamaru says, great job, you godly monk. Igaguri continues by saying, the strategy Noah told me during the sub worked perfectly. Itoshirin is now relying on his senses and will rush without any hesitation. Use his rough tackle to your advantage and draw a foul with your militia. Noah was watching my efforts, how I've been using my talent. Did you see that, fam? Those temple bastards. Did you see that, fam? Those temple bastards. Life, Anami Amida Butsu upgrade. Noah says, good job. Keep it up, Igarashi Gurimo. The enemy will still attack with everything they've got, so don't get flustered. Face their merciless violence with cold, rational thinking. Igaguri and Raichi both say, alright, yes, we will. And Isagi begins to start his monologue. He says, Igaguri's militia pierces Rin. Sealing Rin, the field is changing. Loki then says, this isn't the end, is it, you licky-tongued monster? And Rin says, Shut up. Next, I'll curse that monk to death. And the game restarts with Igaguri passing to Noah, who load. No, Noah says, "Let's go back to Mission. Link up with me." And Kaiser says, "Okay, you shitty master." Shido and Charles both rush Noah, and Shido says, "Let's do it, Noah-chan." And Charles says, "Let's sandwich them." And Noah says, "Go to Kaiser," as Kaiser sprints next to him. Noah passes the ball through Charles's legs. Gonna be eager this, and runs and kicks the ball back to Noah and kicks the ball between them. Isagi says, "Draw those two in and passing through the legs in a direct 1-2, taking out 3 players at once, and there I'll join in too," as Isagi decides to rush into uh the field next to Kaiser, expecting a pass from Noah. Noah and Kaiser look at each other, and Zantetsu blocks Isagi's path, while Kodansha moves to mark Noah. However, Noah passes the ball to Kaiser, and Isagi begins to monologue and says, "He was using me as a decoy," and we see Noah begin to start saying, "I came to this league not for the team. However, it was to awaken your ego, Kaiser. What I want from you is a rival who threatens me. This existence will force me to evolve further, and a me that has never been seen before will be born." Kaiser passes the ball to Noah to avoid Choppy stealing the ball. But you like to type right next to the microphone.
How's that picking up?
It's picking up like incredibly loud.
How? Oh, my nose suppression isn't on. There we go.
And Noah says, "I want to become even stronger," where we see his egos begin to manifest as those shapes we saw in the title. So at this point, what do you think of the chapter?
I believe the beginning is it kind of feels slow, but then we get to, like, the middle range. So basically after the whole Igaguri stuff, it's established like, he's got foul, but it really results in nothing. It just results in a start.
Mm-hmm.
So that is so it just felt kind of like it felt kind of which people may be happy about, people may not be happy about. Personally for me, the fact that Igaguri's very hype foul didn't get rewarded in any way, and it just resulted in Bastard receiving the starting ball instead.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lame. It just brings the whole game back to literally just after after Rin scored, because that's when Loki and Noel Noah and Igaguri subbed on the pitch. But now this time the approach is Noel Noah with Kaiser. So when we get to that exchange between Noel Noah and Kaiser, that's when it starts picking up. And I do like the exchanges between the two. And I, of course, love this panel of Noel Noah's aura being revealed. He is Squid Games.
No, it is Squid Game. I feel like his aura is a little underwhelming for being like the number 1 striker in the world. I thought his aura before was like the gears and like the machine, what we saw before against Barcha. But this just seemed very underwhelming, I guess, especially because those symbols are like prevalent in Buddhism, I believe. Like I think that's what Animasu said, and that this would have been just more in line with Igaguri, but going to Noah seems very odd. I would have preferred his aura to say that like mechanized mechanical stuff, as a machine still constantly works and machines will consistently get better as people improve upon them, and that
Yeah,
like
as much as
with
I find this aura to be cool, I want an explanation to why it's Squid Games, because I'm just gonna keep calling it Squid Game aura.
yeah, it's also like machines and like gears would make more sense because like in real life machines work, and then when new technology comes out, it forces the machines to be improved upon and get better to complete their job, and that's kind of what Noah is going through right now, is that
Yeah,
like he's going to evolve Kaiser so he can get better himself by having a better rival. This also puts into perspective that Noah is an individualistic and restrictive type of ego, like,
yeah, yeah.
which is kind of cool. But I do think that it's a little weird that he has this aura and not the gears, because the gears would just make more sense given his personality, play style, and this entire chapter. I don't know why the aura.
Well,
comes
how
with
about
this.
this as the answer? Go fuck yourself.
Maybe I wouldn't, but
Maybe I
uh,
will.
but yeah, I think the panel itself is cool. I just think the gears would have been better, in my opinion, for his aura. But anyways, um, Isagi monologues and says, Kaiser says to become even stronger, and Isagi says, "Is this Noel Noah's true ego?" And Tokimitsu runs in and says, "I have to stop them. If I don't," and then we go to the next page where, for the load, Noah Tokimitsu grabs Noah and attempts to steal the ball. However, Noah copies Igaguri's militia technique and draws a foul against Tokimitsu, with Tokimitsu being awarded a yellow card, with the announcer saying due to Aoshi Tokimitsu's malicious foul, he receives a yellow card.
Yeah,
Which
so
is
this puts in perspective that Noah was the one to teach Igaguri the malicious foul.
well, no, he
Because
learned it by
Noah
himself,
knows
but
not.
Noah like gave him more insight on how to use it better to target Rin, and then he
Yeah,
implemented himself.
yeah. I don't doubt like the world's best players can like replicate certain things, especially like fouls. And of course, this is on the level of professional player. It's like plays, right? Because professional players do this all the time in actual football. Like they fake fouls and whatever.
Yeah,
To gain upper hand. So
yeah.
this makes sense. This
They're
makes
doing
sense.
it better
And
than I was expecting. They're doing it better in the story than I was
yeah,
expecting. Because I was like,
yeah.
I don't want them to do it. It's gonna be
I
scummy. Like, but this is
I find it to be only an issue if it is actually used as a hoax. Um, just an excuse. For ending this whole entire match. But the way that they're doing it is basically just showcasing that, oh, this is something which people have to, or these characters have to be aware of, because otherwise, you know, it will, they'll put into situations where they get too arrogant or too reckless
with their
and get
plays.
into the situation. And it's
Yeah,
also Tokimitsu kind of had to foul Noah.
like
Like he had to go in, so therefore it made the foul like inevitable. So it was either going to result in a Noah goal or this. So the outcome was basically end the game with a Noah goal or Kaiser goal, or Tokimitsu fouls him or
and
gets fouled
attempt for them to
for
restart the
grabbing.
play. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
there's only so many things that you can do with Noah actually trying. Because before he didn't really give a shit. Now he seems like he's actually pursuing his own goal, or like
yeah,
he's pursuing a goal in the future by pursuing one for Kaiser in a way. If that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
But anyways, um, we continue with Nanase saying, "No, it can be helped. We would have been defeated if we didn't stop them." Izaki begins to monologue and says, "Sorry, I'm so tired." She says, "I see. Noah has always been using me not for my sake, but to evolve Kaiser. And Rin wants to use me as a rival to grow stronger." And he says, "In this world, uh, in this world, I'm nothing more than the number two, a stepping stone a stepping stone to create a hero. This is my reality." Which this panel looks cool because you have Rin and Kaiser there. Izzy just seems lost in the void, with his puzzle pieces disintegrating around both of these characters,
This
and
imitates the
especially Loki.
imagery.
Like,
This imitates the imagery of when Bachida was feeling like out the loop against Rin and Isagi.
mhm.
So now Isagi is feeling feeling the effects of being basically used and then forgotten.
Yeah. But, anyways, Noah says, "Now finish it, Kaiser. A 29-meter free kick. It's time for your Kaiser impact." And Kaiser says, "But I have this, you shitty master." And Izzy says, "Do not mess with me. I will crush you both." And the final remark of the chapter is, "Isagi is furious. He won't let anyone get in his way on his path to becoming the best in the world. To be continued in Football Junkies." Now, this final thing is very difficult in terms of perception. We see everyone crowding around the right side. I don't know why. Kaiser's impacts usually come from the left. So they'll likely move,
What?
but I don't know why they're all kind of sitting there. They all should be more clumped towards the left side, especially where he is right now. He's at the perfect spot, I think, for Magnus. And the ball is also stationary. Like right now is the perfect time for him to hit a Magnus shot, so they should be more towards the back of the net rather than how close they are. So they'll
Yeah.
probably move eventually, but they're in a weird position. And Kaiser, the only thing that I can see happening is Loki comes in and intercepts a Kaiser impact, which he's the only one fast enough to do it. Shido is not fast enough. People think Shido's going to do it. She's not fast enough. Nor does he have the
Bro,
foresight.
no, it comes down to the fastest swing speed versus the fastest player.
Yeah. Well, it also not just the fastest, the fastest shot, because
yeah, it's pretty much just the speed of the shot versus the speed of the player, right?
Yeah.
And I believe Loki's surpassing it.
Loki has to. There's no because right here, Loki like Kaiser can hit a Magnus, which I'm gonna guess he will. Like I don't see anything. I don't know why he wouldn't hit a Magnus.
I think the bait is going to be like they expect him to hit a Magnus, so they're preparing for a Magnus, but he actually shoots it between the players for like an actual Kaiser's impact instead, and that's when Loki fucking bolts in and actually outruns his shot.
I would want to see him do point again because he tried to use point against Nanase and Karasu, but he got stopped by Rin. I want to know what point is. Maybe it's like baiting that. Maybe it's baiting them into like a jumping thing, and he goes for like instead of going for like a top corner, he goes for a bottom and shoots for a bottom corner. So he forces them into jumping. He shoots under their legs and hits like a bottom corner. Maybe that's my guess as to what point could be. But I want to see point because he's going to do it, but he didn't actually get to execute the swing because of ringing. So I'd be interested in that. But Loki has to come in and stop him. Like, and I feel like there's no way around it.
It seems realistically Loki's the only person who can, but I don't know. Maybe they'll try. Maybe they'll try something with Rin, but that doesn't make sense.
The past 3 chapters,
Loki's the only character, and especially since he hadn't been featured much in this chapter at all, he's the only character in which makes sense to actually stop Kaiser's shot.
Yeah. Also, I feel like these last 3 chapters are great stopping points to cut to Barcho. And if they don't do it next time, I really think that it's gonna get too wasted. Because like you had Igaguri and Loki coming on, the 2 masters going off against each other, the 2-week break, come back to Barcho, right? It's 2-2. Then you had Igaguri's foul, which reset the entire point of the game. You could have cut right now to Barcha with Nagi and Ryo. And now this point here with Noah and Isagi feeling betrayed. Isagi now feels at his lowest point. Give it an extra week of him to feel at that low point, especially when you're doing the anime adaptation. If they adapt Barcher, that could adapt the rest of the episode, which would then give another week for the fans who are anime only to be like, yeah, this is Isagi's on his he's at his lowest point right now, and only at his lowest point they wanted to feel that for a little while before he then comes back to build it up. That way it doesn't feel like, oh, it's instantaneous. Oh yeah, Isagi just never loses, because even when he loses, he just immediately finds a way. Like they need that.
Bro, it's like how he said a million times. He's the genius of adaptability.
But that's his weak point, is that he isn't a genius. Like that's he keeps calling himself a genius, and even Ego's like, don't try to become a genius. Like
yeah,
it's dangerous for you as a player.
And I believe that's going to be Isagi's revelation, ain't it? Because
but I think
Isagi's
give him
revelation
that week.
and then referring to the missing component on the field, which he thought would be Rin, but it would actually be Ness.
Mm-hmm. I think that this chapter was a very huge shock. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I like seeing Noah true ego get revealed. I don't like his aura. I like him signing with Kaiser, and I like Isagi going through this revelation of he's not just BLUELOCK. He's not the golden boy of the series. Which, despite him being the main character, throughout the NEL, he's been really hyped up as the golden child. Like, because he was BLUELOCK's hero. He was the main catalyst for a lot of the plays in the games. But I feel like now he's finally realizing that he isn't the main star. Like,
yeah, but
it's
it also
really...
feels weird because this is the same game where he still scored that two-stage gun fake, two-gun volley goal. it doesn't. It feels like this game has gone on for so long that that goal never happened.
Yeah, well, the game that goal happened back in April. That was
Yeah,
6 months ago. Like, and to be fair, Uber's lasted like almost a full. Like, I think Hiyori came onto the pitch a year ago. From like now, like Hiyori came onto the pitch for Uber's. Like, it's been a while since the games have been progressing, along with like break weeks and such. Um, I think because of like Kaiser's goal, he had like a 2 week break before Kaiser's goal. We had like a week break after before Reen went into flow for the first time in this game. We went on this break week after we went on the break week after um Reen the triple matchup, the rock paper scissors matchup. We went on another break week when the Masters came onto the pitch. Like
yeah.
there was a lot.
There's been
There's been a
consecutive
lot.
break weeks and just I don't
Oh,
know.
and we also went on the break week before Kaiser's backstory, where he failed the Magnus for the first time. Like, there's been like
Yeah,
6 weeks of the time, like a month and a half, have been no blue lock out of
yeah.
the 7-8 months of content. So you're only getting 6 months of
It
content.
it feels so long because
It
especially
does.
because these are like less manga panels than like what we would have usually. It feels like the content of it is getting shorter, but I believe the story is building to a good quality.
And
So
again, progressing
that's a
slower.
trade-off.
Like again,
Yeah.
after usually every goal, there's usually a chapter of just conversation. There's actually no gameplay right afterwards. Like in going in, like when we see the anime in the third selection, as soon as the goal happens, there's like maybe 2 lines of dialogue, and then it's a boom right into the next play. With this, there's like a whole chapter of just conversation and monologue and like planning out what's gonna happen in the next play because it's first to 3 goals wins. So there's only 5 goals that can be scored total in the match max. In the third selection, there's 9. So they're just kind of jumping through it as fast as possible. But here they're taking a little more time because each goal has such a huge impact on the game itself. Like you had Shido's goal, which had a chapter 253. Isagi's goal, which was 258, they had the chapter after. Kaiser's goal, 267, was the chapter after, along with 268 having a little bit of time afterwards because of Uber's reacting to his plays and Isagi thinking and such. So there's still a lot of time in between each goal that happens, and then them coming onto the pitch and like these last 2 chapters, it's been start of a play, end of a play because of eagerly fouling rain. And then it restarts the play, and then it ends here with this play ending. But like with Rain's flow state, it was just one continuous play. That's why I feel like
It's
Rain's
just
flow state happened. It was drawn out, but it was faster. I think.
it's to say like the drawing out. I feel like they're continuing this NEL for as much as it can hold until possibly because I can believe that this match can go on for well at least until the end of the year at this rate,
Yeah.
which seems likely because I'm expecting this back and forward exchange. So Loki's gonna get the ball, gonna start rushing. Isagi's gonna think shit. Someone's gonna stop Loki, or someone's going to stop someone who Loki passes to. Then it's gonna be like a counter attack. No is gonna do stuff. Kaiser's gonna do
I'm
stuff.
expecting a little
He's
different.
still gonna be thinking.
I think this chapter will end within 8 of last chapter. So, including um last chapter, this chapter, I think this game will end in about 6 chapters because I think there's not a lot
Would
more
it?
they can go on that you don't really have to develop any of the other core players except for Loki and Charles. And I think Loki can score a goal in 6, and I think the final chapter of this volume will end on Loki scoring because it's a Charles manga volume. I don't think they would do a Loki manga volume, and I don't think they need. There's no other characters for PhD that they could adapt into another manga volume unless it is Loki or Noah, and I don't think they're gonna get one. So I think ending it there and then having the volume directly afterwards, even if they do a Loki manga volume, would just be the conclusion of the NEL, like it finally finishing in the same way that like I think it was the Sai or the Henri manga one that ended the U20 game with the Kaiser teaser, the actual game ending itself, and then you had Kunigami's wildcard reveal. I think that was where that one ended, and then it started the next volume with the 3 chapters of the Blue Lock Day off. I think they could end this one on that, or even end it with um Loki getting possession and them starting to build a play, and then the final 3 chapters are Nagi, Manshine, and versus Barcha game. And then you cut to the new volume, which would have Loki, where Loki scores the goal, and then it finishes off the NEL in those next 8 chapters in that new volume. So 3 chapters for Loki, 5 chapters to finish off the NEL, and build towards the next one. That's what I think could happen. So I think give 3 more chapters here, do 2 or 3 more, do 2-3 chapters here, 3 chapters for Manshine, 2 or 3 for Manshine, and then do 3 chapters in the new volume, and 5 to wrap up the NEL. That's what I think could happen.
Okay.
What do you think? Do you think that makes sense?
Well, yeah, the pacing sounds good, but I of course, I've already expressed I don't want Loki scoring the last goal.
Yeah, you don't want Loki scoring, but I think
it's a realistic option, but I don't
it's
want
I think Noah has a higher chance now, honestly, of scoring.
Well, we have Noah, but then I'm also like Isagi as a determined underdog now will have that sort of partnership with Kiora likely.
Yeah, and Kiora and Ness versus Noah, Hiyori,
and Ness. Yeah, and Ness seems very plausible to. He's been gone. Like Ness has been like non-existent for the past like 10 chapters.
He hasn't been gone since Isagi, and Kaiser stopped ringing before his goal. He's been gone for like 8 chapters straight.
Yeah, I like come on. I believe he's just standing off the side like what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. It's just a weird thing. But what would you rate this chapter? Out of 10?
I gave this chapter a 9 out of 10.
Okay. I was giving like an 8.3, 8.5. Just like it was cool. I don't like Noah's aura. I think it's weird. And I don't know where they could go from this point. It's weird. I don't know where they could go from this point. So
fair. But hey, that's the chapter. But guess what else came out this weekend?
We got the anime episode, baby. Let's go. So to talk about that, we want to give our just basic thoughts because Raven's review comes out in like an hour, I believe. And
I already published my review.
Your review already did come out. Your review came out 8 o'clock for me, which was like when for you, like 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
1 p.m.
Okay,
1 p.m.
So 1 p.m. for him. So go check his review out if you want to hear his in-depth breakdown of the episode. Mine comes out tomorrow, so I'm gonna be pretty vague. I think the episode was great, and I think it's a drastic improvement over the composition, not just the animation. I don't want to just talk about animation. I think the composition is what took a definite increase in quality. Like it just visually, you can say it's horrible animation, but you can't say it doesn't visually look appealing. Not in terms of movement, not in terms of animation. I'm talking visual design choice. The setting and the character designs, and the lighting, it all looks better. And that's where I think the season took a definite increase. Is its composition they take more time with the composition rather than doing the weird, very bright, and very like white canvas like background. They took time to make their scenes look better composited, and I think that's what's going to contribute to the season being overall enjoyed more. Whether the animation looks the same or not, if they composite everything well, it's gonna look better. So that's what I think.
We're talking about the style because it's a much more ominous, dim setting. It fits with the personality. It fits with the intensity of this season being like a sort of this is a risk element. Like the first season of Blue Lock, I could understand why it was so bright and fucking colorful and shit. Like it was an intense environment, but it still didn't have its stakes represented much because it feels like, of course, following the main character, he's never feeling at risk to be eliminated. But this feels like a situation where, you're facing up against Japan U20 to prove that your facility is worth keeping up. And if you lose, actually, we're gonna shut you down, shit like that. But the dim lighting is really adding on to that sort of intensity, the training arc, and what we're going to expect. And I'm just gonna like put this out there. I believe that this episode was probably like the best that it could be in terms of an introduction back into the series.
Yeah, I think they did this episode better than they did the very first episode of the anime, and I think they did it better than episode 12 where they come back and start the second selection. I think this just looks better because it's about the same level of intensity. Like, there's not a lot that happens in either of those first episodes. Like, Isagi goes through the 100 goals challenge. He teams up with Nagi. They challenge Rain. That's all that happens in that episode. Very first episode, Isagi loses. He gets invited to BLUELOCK to do the tag game, and it ends as Isagi kicks out Kira. And then this, um, Rain vs. Sai beginning. We have the top six are revealed. Third selection starts. Isagi picks his teams, and they are preparing to start the third selection. It's like that's all good. That's all like this episode has about the same level of intensity and importance, but they just did this episode better than the rest. It just looks better, and I think quality wise, I would rather. I would rather at this rate, I would rather rewatch the second season if the second season remains this level of quality than I would the first season. Not just because of the content, but because of the quality. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, the quality is taking a step up. Of course, we haven't seen any of the actual like in-game matches, so we can't really draw comparison to what it looks like in the, of course, what it looks like in the series so far. We did see Rin versus Sai in a brief moment where it did look good. The sequences did look good. And especially since they didn't utilize any CGI. Any noticeable bits of CGI was completely cut from this episode, and the only bits that were of CGI that were used were for still frames.
Yeah, it was also when like the scene of like the third selection, there's a shot of Hiyori that's a CGI model behind Isagi, but he's very like dark. You can, if you're looking for it, you'll find it. But if you don't, I didn't notice it at first. I did it when I was getting the clips again. So, I'd say this episode is a solid like 9.2, 9.3.
Yeah, you guys. I already gave my rating like I gave it an A minus, meaning there was like a 8.5 to a 9. I believe that was a fair rating.
Yeah. You
Both the music tracks for the song, really good. The
he
intro
says
and
he
outro.
yeah, he said he didn't like the animation. We know you don't like the opening, but I think the opening was great. I think it's Union if it's like Union Square Garden tried to match Judgment. Like it's how Judgment had its music. They tried to get a similar vibe, but they're not the same band. They're gonna have a different style. They're gonna have a different vocalist. They're gonna have different music. They're gonna have a different plan when doing their song. And I think it's close. The visuals were. I think the visuals were better. I think the visuals in the opening were better than either of the previous two because I like that paint esque style for it. I think it looks great. So I'd say this opening Judgment is still the better music. This opening is the better visual, in my opinion. What do you say?
Yeah, Judgment had the better song for me because I believe the what that song captured for me is like what it meant to feel like you were also there on the pitch. And of course the drop down to the build up. It encapsulated the story beat of that time. Whilst this one does a good job at that as well, but of course nothing in my heart can beat Ash the Hero's Judgment. Come on, big up, my guys.
Um, I do want to say that I mentioned this, if episode Nagi was just a cash grab, you can definitely tell from this second season that the money that came in is definitely impacting. Like, if this season is this good, if the episode one was just a teaser for how good this season's going to be, I have no complaints. I would be fine with that movie being used as a recap and as a money farmer. I just hope if they do a sequel that they do it if they do a sequel to the episode Nagi movie where they adapt the rest of the second selection, that they put more love and care into it. That's all I would have to say. But yeah. Any last comments you want to make on before we end the stream? Because we've been going for about 2 hours now, longer than we usually do, but we had more stuff to
Um,
cover.
hey guys. At the end of the day, we are just happy to have more Blue Lock content.
Yeah. Like,
and we are gathered as a community, not as people who want to criticize, because I'm gonna be honest, when you look through the first season for the first time to relive it in the blind eyes of someone who just appreciated the genre, we didn't focus that much on the design elements. Let's be honest. How stuff looks in comparison to how stuff is told, how the story is told, it's night and day. So how the story is told is what is going to be is what's going to impact the anime towards me. Because how it looks, that doesn't matter too much at the end of the day. As long as it looks like it's a functional anime, that's all I could ask for.
same. Like, if I can tell it looks like it was made by a studio that is putting effort to at least make it a decent quality, I'm fine. Like, I would say last season was a decent quality. I would say last season was decent. This season so far looks good. I would say it's a step up. Not huge, but
Yeah.
it's a reasonable step up. And if, like, we saw from just like a little bit of gameplay with Sai, yeah, you could say, oh, it's still images, but it looked good. Like, Sai dribbling, like when they did like the sound effect of like the time stopping when Sai broke past Rain. I would say it wasn't incredibly fluid, but it was more like image, 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 image in like a slow motion kind of thing. But that's not a bad thing. Like, I think it looked good because it's showing that, like, well, it wasn't. You could have done it differently, but I think it's cool. Like, he's able to make these decisions as if time is slowed with such calculated ability. It also sets up Sai's like, yeah, I'm still above Rain, the number one player in Blue Lock, by a hefty margin, which puts in like
Yeah.
the next match into perspective. I also like how the opening was told through Rain, like through Rain's perspective, which was nice. So, I would say it looked good.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm here for I'm here for it. I'm
yeah,
here for what they're doing so far.
yeah,
And yeah, just basically keep up what they're doing.
yeah. Um, I do want to say, join our Discord. I haven't plugged that yet. Go join our Discord right now. Um, go ahead and join that because we have an event we have a giveaway that might be happening. Not sure. Because it all kind of depends on Ravin. It could be happening. But I also want to say that I don't know about Ravin, but I'm going to be opening up Blue Lock cards on stream, like a trading card game, which has the potential to have signed character cards from the Japanese voice actors. So that's something you want to see. Join the stream. We'll talk about Blue Lock, open up the cards and such, and do that. But also, I hope you guys did enjoy the stream. I'm gonna try and get in contact with more voice actors. I've reached out to both Shido and Honoree's voice actor as well. I'm gonna try and reach out to. I know Hideo has direct contact with Atoya's voice actor, so I'm gonna try and reach out to him as well. But we'll have to see who does Hiyori, and such. Like Hiyori and Nana say they'd be interesting characters to have on. Oliver Aiku, I'd be very excited to see who plays him. My prediction is the same guy who voices Shanks in the dub, but I'd be very much interested to see what he does. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the stream. We'll see you potentially Friday for another matchup stream. If you guys want, submit your matchups down below of who you want us to talk about and who you would like to argue for yourselves. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning into the stream. The edited version of the interview will be coming out maybe next weekend. I have tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday off because of the hurricane coming to hit me. So yeah, we'll be chilling. So yeah, thank you guys
Hit
so
me,
much for taking
baby,
the
one
time.
more time.
Yeah, and I will see you guys for another video tomorrow with my